Imagine this. You're alone in complete darkness. You hear the sound of metal creaking and water pressing in from all sides. No phone, no signal, no one knows you're even down there. You're at the bottom of the ocean. For 3 days, you manage to breathe in a small bubble of air. And then, out of the blue, a light finds you. That's what happened to Harrison Ojegba Okena, a ship's cook who somehow managed to survive nearly 60 hours trapped inside a sunken tugboat. It happened on May 26, 2013, off the coast of Nigeria, in the Gulf of Guinea. The tugboat AHT Jaskin 4 was on a routine mission, assisting an oil tanker. Everything was normal. The crew was laughing and joking, checking the equipment, moving around as they would on any other day. And then, out of nowhere, a massive wave crashed down on them. The boat turned over in an instant and sank. Resting on the ocean floor 30 meters down, there were 12 men on board. 11 of them didn't survive. Harrison? He was stuck in a living hell that most people wouldn't even be able to comprehend. Harrison was 29 years old. That morning, he had just finished cooking and was in the bathroom, and then the water burst in. It flooded in like a wall, buckling metal, flooding the entire area. Darkness engulfed him. He struggled through the narrow corridors of the upside-down ship, wires floating in all directions, kitchen equipment drifting by, looking for a place to breathe. The water was icy cold. Every passing moment, he felt like he was being crushed by the pressure. Finally, he discovered a small air pocket in the engineer's cabin. Not large, but enough to sit up. It was nestled under a small table, surrounded by walls on 3 sides, with a small hatch above. He pressed himself flat against the wall, trying not to disturb the thin layer of air above. This small space became everything. His lifeline, his only hope. The first few hours were pure terror. Every noise made him jump. The creaking of the hull, the shifting of debris, even possible sounds of the crew outside. The cold was pressing against him like a physical force. His muscles screamed in pain, his body cramped. He moved slowly, hardly at all, so he wouldn't reduce the size of the air pocket. Every breath was a gift, every thought a racing, panicked thing. Harrison quickly realized he had to regulate his breathing. Shallow, measured breaths, counting them to calm his pounding heart. He struggled to stay awake, because if he fell asleep, that would be it. Hunger gnawed at him. Thirst parched his mouth, but fear kept him awake. He began to notice minute differences in the air. Breathing became harder. The air was thickening, heavy with the stench of CO2. Sometimes he gagged. He pressed his face against the hatch, trying to find a spot with cleaner air. Every small movement counted. He could shift slightly and displace the air he was relying on. The hours passed, then a day. Harrison created minute rituals to keep himself alive. Moving limbs, listening for every sound, picturing daylight, thinking of family, holding on to hope. The hull creaked incessantly. He could feel the vibrations through the floor, the boat sinking further into the seabed. Each creak made him jump. Each bubble made him wonder if the air pocket was collapsing. His lips split, his muscles cramped. Each second was potentially the last. On the 3rd day, hopelessness crept in. He thought he'd never escape, but then he sensed small hints. Light leaking through cracks, changes in pressure. Perhaps someone was nearby. He tapped on metal, called out into the darkness, hoping someone was listening. And that's when it happened. 3 days after the sinking, South African divers from DCN Global arrived. They were contracted to retrieve bodies, expecting a disaster. But one of the divers felt a tap on his helmet, another tap, then a garbled voice. Harrison was alive. He had lasted almost 60 hours underwater, in total darkness, in a small cabin, while all the other passengers had died. The rescue was a complex operation. Harrison couldn't simply be brought to the surface. He'd die instantly from rapid ascent. The divers carefully placed a helmet filled with surface air on him, then transferred him to a diving bell and began the process of controlled decompression. Every minute counted. One wrong move could have been fatal. Harrison remained perfectly still, trusting the divers completely, listening to every sound, every movement of water, every vibration of the ship's hull. Finally, he broke through to the surface, alive, shivering, exhausted, and raw. He would later say that he experienced a strange calm in the darkness, moments of clarity, hearing the last sounds of his colleagues and the ship itself. He was hailed as an accidental aquanaut, the first person known to survive in a sunken ship like this. People around the world couldn't believe it. But think about it. This story isn't just about survival. It's about luck, timing, instinct, and human resilience. Life can depend on the smallest details: a tiny air pocket, a tap on a helmet, the careful work of divers. Harrison's experience shows that reality can be stranger and more exciting than fiction. If Harrison's experience left you gasping for air, there's more. Our next video explores another incredible story of survival. And believe me, you'll want to listen to it from start to finish. And join us as we explore real-life stories that test human limits, proving that truth is often more exciting than fiction.